Greetings and welcome back to the weekly news roundup. My audio looks a little bit low. Let me crank that up just a little bit there. All right. I want to go screaming and ranting and raving like a lunatic and I'll make y'all deaf. We don't want that though, do we? I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys all had a wonderful week. Getting ready for a wonderful weekend. We have, I was actually at the grocery store the other day that actually had the variety pack of the Bigelow brand tea. So I got Constant Comment today. Not to be confused with Constant Contact, which I often say because, you know, my work and websites and things like that. Stop and restart stream, but yeah, it did the same thing as last week. Let's see. Viewer activity. Nothing. Hey, there it goes. It's back. All right. All right. I'm going to give that a second for that thing to get back up. Apologies over there on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube did the exact same thing it did last week. No problem on OBS. No problem with my internet. It starts, and about a minute in, it just stops. And then it suddenly comes back. So YouTube has something wrong with it on its end. I don't know what. But yeah, it is a YouTube thing. They did the exact same thing last week. Did it again this week where you start, you go about a minute in, and then YouTube just stops. I don't know why. And then it takes a few minutes before it jumps back in. So I don't know. Maybe I will. I can't just run the stream for an extra minute before I start on YouTube because Odyssey and Rumble don't have their own start buttons. YouTube, you have to start the encoder going, feed this data in, and then you need to start the stream. And then as you start the stream, that's what starts it. And then you have to hit the stop button to stop it. Even right now, it says it's only pulling in 264 kilobit per second, even though OBS has no problem pushing 10 times that rate. So I don't know what's going on YouTube right now. So I don't know. We're going to get rid of that. And hopefully it doesn't have any problems. But yeah, it's welcome to YouTube. They keep on doing stupid things and they become stupider and stupider. Anyway, as I was saying, I did yesterday get the podcast up for last week's. I will try and get this one up, although tomorrow I am going to be out of the office most of the day tomorrow, all day Saturday, and possibly on Sunday. I have no earthly idea. But anyway, yeah, Commodore fan says only live streamer seems to be having this problem. I don't know. It's the second week in a row it has happened. Like I said, it's not on my internet end. It's not on the OBS end. It is absolutely on YouTube's end. It's weird. But anyway, apparently some YouTuber had a problem with YouTube deleting everyone's chat in their live stream. That's interesting. All right, well, if you do want to help support the channel, have a look over at the website, switchedtolinux.com/support. So you can have a look over there if you want to help support the channel. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get into our main topics. We have a couple different topics. The first is, of course, the danger is in the house, and the second is RCS For All. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. And today we are going to go ahead and have a look at the danger is in the house. There is an FBI warning that we need to be very cautious about Chinese apps and foreign apps because they might expose user data to bad things. And I'm thinking like Facebook and Google and Microsoft and every American company. I don't know. Let's go and have a look at what the FBI had to say. So, FBI warning Americans about data security risks tied to foreign developed mobile apps, especially those linked to China. Okay, so you gotta be careful of China. Okay, FBI is urging Americans to think twice before downloading foreign apps, warning that some could quietly expose sensitive user data. Ooh. Okay. Years of escalating data privacy tensions have already pushed the U.S. to restrict several foreign platforms, citing Chinese laws that can compel companies to hand over user data to government authorities. Like procedural warrants, geofence warrants. We won't talk about those, though, you know? I mean, FBI, NSA, ICE buying location data from companies. That's not coercion. That's, hey, would you like a stack of cash? I just want some data. What's behind the concerns? In recent years, several Chinese-developed apps, including CapCut and Temu. If you're buying stuff from Temu, you do have problems. Just be aware of that, unless you're doing it for the meme. But have become widely used in the U.S. with millions of U.S. users. The FBI says these apps are subject to China's extensive national security laws. Okay, then. That's a concern. So what's the use? Data storage and privacy policies. Some software companies often store user data on servers in China, sometimes indefinitely. Okay, Facebook stores our data, sometimes indefinitely. So does Microsoft and Google, and let's not forget Palantir, Flock. There's a good one, you know. We're not even using those apps. They're just collecting our data anyway. The danger's in the house, folks. The danger's in the house. The invite friend option. This one's particularly funny, okay? Certain apps often request contact permissions to allow users to invite their friends and family. While harmless, this can give apps access to contact information of people who don't even use them. Kind of like Facebook, right? Like, I don't want to give people my phone number anymore because everyone's like, oh, this is your phone. Let me put you in my phone. And then you have Facebook, and you have already agreed to give Facebook every contact you put into your phone, which should be completely illegal. I don't want Facebook to have my phone number and a name associated with me, but there they are, blah, 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 you know. It's like, I didn't ask for this. So what's the FBI all concerned about? China, I got a hot take here, okay? I don't really care what China's doing on the other side of the world. But I care what Facebook does because they're in my backyard. Very interesting indeed. Forbes notes that in the wrong hands, such data can be used to map social relationships, a key element in social engineering attacks as in phishing. Like what Facebook and Microsoft and Google does. In fact, in RCS For All, we're going to see that now Google effectively routes every text message in the world through their servers, and they can read the metadata. Kind of cool, huh? Oh, yeah. And then, of course, there's the malware end. We're going to see in our QuickLines some 40 million installs from the Google Play Store. They won't tell us what they are. I kind of want to know if those people have been verified. So, yeah, they are giving us this warning here. The FBI's recommendation, turn off unnecessary data sharing, enabling regular software updates, requiring frequent password changes, and downloading apps from official stores. It also recommends that users read the terms of service of apps they wish to download, like, you know, Facebook. However, that is one thing many users don't do, of course. Now, of course, look at what's going on just here in America, in the house, you see. The dangers in the house. Everyday apps collect and use your data without you knowing. All right, so every day we tap and swipe our favorite apps without a second thought. Have you ever paused to consider what happens to our data in the process? From social media platforms to fitness trackers, these applications collect far more information than we realize, shaping our own online experiences and then influencing our decisions. They use it for targeted advertising, user experience improvements, and even selling insights to third parties. All things I don't want anything to do with. So let's understand the data collection. Obviously, it starts on your phone with permissions, on the internet just with internet tracking scripts that are just embedded in websites. Like, did you know there's TikTok has a tracking pixel, Google has a tracking pixel, Facebook has a tracking pixel, I think Microsoft has a tracking pixel. And as companies embed these tracking pixels, you land on the website with the pixel downloads onto your device. Now, if you're logged into a Facebook account on that device, that everything you do on the internet is tied back into your Facebook account. If you are not logged into your Facebook account and they don't reasonably know who you are, then they store that information about you as well and tie it to some form of machine ID or based on fingerprinting or things like this. The only way to stop this, it's not, I don't use Facebook, I don't have to worry about it. No. They're still doing it. I don't use TikTok. I wouldn't use TikTok. They're still doing it. The only thing you can do is track down all of these trackers and explicitly block them on your network. Custom DNS, Pi-hole. We've done some tutorials, albeit old ones on those. In a couple months here, I'm going to start working on revamping some of the old tutorials and things. So we're going to look at some of those. But custom DNS, like on my Graphene OS phone, since I can't modify the host file, I'm using a service called NextDNS, which has been amazing. And I don't use my phone enough to actually have to pay for it. Over a certain number of queries, you have to. All of those types of things you can do and block those things. But if you're not doing anything, they are still tracking you around the internet without your knowledge, without your consent. So the role of permissions, apps request numerous permissions during installation. Like, you're playing some weird game and I'd like to have your contacts. Okay. Why? Why do you need to know my contacts? Well, because we just need to harvest all the metadata about you. We need to find out if there's some crazy guy that in your contact list so that, the FBI can force the companies to hand over data. Because, that only happens in China, I hear. Oh, no, it happens in here in America, too, eh? All right. Background data usages allow apps to continue data collection even when the app is not actively in use, such as social media platforms often run processes that track user behavior and location without our knowledge. Yeah, if you have Facebook on your phone and your location services is turned on, Facebook can track you around the entire world. And when I say Facebook, that is a metaphor for every single social media application you have installed on your phone. Okay, and there's so much other stuff in here. I didn't want to get through all of those. And then here's how our digital devices are putting our right to privacy at risk. We are creating a huge amount of private personal data on a daily basis, and yet legally it's unclear when and how that data can be turned against us by law enforcement. So this is actually an analysis of a book. This was a lot more extensive than just apps and things like this. So we're just going to hit a couple highlights at the top of the article here. But this is a new book by George Washington University law professor Andrew Guthrie, and Andrew Guthrie Ferguson has a book, Your Data Will Be Used Against You, Policing in the Age of Self-Surveillance. And that's an interesting title because the self-surveillance means we are doing this to ourselves. Okay, I went over to a friend's house the other day. I noticed there's a Ring camera. Like, whoa, what are you doing with that? There were some circumstances there, so I'm not going to get into it. But people are putting these on they're buying these surveillance tools, putting them on their house, and then downloading them, and even in many cases paying a subscription service to feed a network that will be used against them. That's a fundamental problem. So this is actually the second book. He did a book, The Rise of Big Data Policing. So for the latest work, Ferguson wanted to focus specifically on what he calls self-surveillance, how data we create potentially exposes us to incrimination because there are so few laws in place to regulate regulate how police and prosecutors can access and use that data. And that's the problem. I do not want to get caught up in all these things because we have no laws. It is the Wild West of these. I said last week, I think, a friend of mine texted me for, how can you remove your name from data brokers? And I was giving some basic information. And she says, well, I reached out to this particular company and requested to delete the data, and they simply sent a reply and said, well, you're not in a jurisdiction that we are forced to, so we're not going to delete your data. Sorry, It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not feeding that beast. But if you're feeding that beast by giving all this data in, that's kind of a problem. So the point here in all of this is that the danger is in the house. The FBI is hitting and going, avoid those Chinese apps. Why? So I can use American apps where you can directly subpoena the companies? At least if all of my data is in China on Temu servers in China, you have a lot harder time getting my information than if they're over here in an American company. Not that I really want any of my data anywhere, but think about, obviously we talked a little about Facebook. Think about what Allstate did, was that their subsidiary company was Alltech, I think. They create a data broker, feed this into mobile phones, pay people to embed their tracker so that they can harvest the data, and they use it against you, sold it to all of the different insurance companies, and cause everybody's rates to go up because 15 years ago, we all rejected those dystopian black boxes in our cars to potentially save 20% or 10%. I think it's 10%, 20%. I don't know. And how those worked is they literally took a statistical average of every driver on their network. Everybody in the upper 10% tier saved 20%. Everybody in the lower 10% tier paid 20% more. The 80 in the middle didn't do anything. The company made the exact same amount of money, but they reshifted what they perceived their risk benefits in different areas. The problem is, though, is if you're driving down the road and somebody in front of you does something really stupid and you got to slam on the brakes, that dings you. The insurance company would almost prefer you crash into the people ahead of you. That's insane. And the point being here is that the FBI is telling us, hey, you should be careful of all those foreign apps because your data could be exposed to the Chinese government. You know what? The Chinese government is a lower risk for me than Facebook. That's crazy. Here's my recommendation. Stop using apps. Stop using them. You do not need apps. You realize that the vastest majority of apps, you can accomplish the exact same thing by going to a web browser on your phone and going to the website. The apps, though, have all the trackers embedded. It resists the ad blockers and tracker blockers and things like that you can put on a browser that you can't put on the app. Of course, if you're using that Next DNS option, that will block the trackers from the apps as well because it's on the DNS on the phone itself. But that's the thing. Stop using apps on your phone. Minimize those. Use vettable open source applications. If something's like, you have to use the app, use a different service. Use something else. That's the thing. Do not be using those apps. The danger, folks, is inside the house. And we have to be careful about that. Let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments down below. All right, first topic is that was short. Hopefully it was fun and entertaining, and I'm a crazy raving lunatic if you're here for the first time. Hey, in person, I'm actually fairly quiet. It's just get me on a webcam and a fun privacy-related topic. I get all crazy. Everyone loses their minds, you know. Anyway, let's move on to their next topic. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup, our second topic of the week. RCS For All. Isn't that great? RCS For All. Of course, we are relating to the brand new way of doing text messaging. I didn't even grab the exact thing here. Rich communication services. Because, of course, everyone using Apple and communicating back and forth, like, you get the green bubbles and you get to see when they're typing back. Because we're all crazy, neurotic people, and we have to know exactly. We got to see that double check mark, the special color. We got to see the ... that they're writing back. We got to know for certain right now that everyone did it. We have all gone crazy and neurotic, folks. Just like, you remember the days of mail? We had to mail something, like write it out even by hand, fold it up, put it in an envelope, drop it in the box. It wouldn't even make it to the recipient for like 3 to 5 days. And then they would have to get it. They have to do it. They have to think about it. They might write a response back, put them out. Like, you wouldn't receive a response for at least a week. You know, and then we had like email came up and whoa, you get a response. And usually response time then was, a day or two because, people were not perpetually connected to the internet. And so not being perpetually connected to the internet, you might check your email every other day. I know it sounds crazy for you young people, but our computers were not inherently on the internet. We actually had to take extra steps to get onto the internet and then sit there and wait for 5 minutes for a text message on an email to download on a 14.6 modem or something crazy, right? And so like it takes forever, Lord forbid somebody sent you a meme picture. That might take forever. All right. But you get all those and then, hey, a couple days. And then we get into this text messaging stuff. We've all gone neurotic, especially you get one of those crazy girlfriends that you sends a text message and you're kind of busy, especially a guy like me. Like I sometimes I don't even take my phone off of the perch. I put it at night, right? Because it just doesn't cross my mind to stare at my phone all the time. And so I might go sometimes a whole day without touching my phone. I know it seems crazy to some of you guys, but if I had some crazy neurotic girlfriend or something and text me something and I don't send a text back in 5 minutes, and then I finally look at the phone because I forgot it was on silent or something from church 2 days before, and I never changed it off of there because, why bother? And I look down, I got 700 messages. Where are you? It's like, we need to slow it down a little bit. So now RCS rolls out, and we can all get the same exact neurotic points. We can see immediately when it's delivered. We can see that they're responding. We can see they read it, and they're actually typing a reply. And then we got to sit there anxiously for like 2 minutes while we wait for that reply. Oh, I got it. And then we get less done because RCS rolls out. Now, we have talked a lot about RCS in the last couple of months. I'm not going to get into all the details again. There's some things that suggest it could be fairly private, fairly secure. But if you dig into all the help documents, it also seems to suggest it's possible that Google can see the entire messages, even though they're allegedly end-to-end encrypted, because they actually have to land at Google servers and pass through a decryption point. And obviously, the meta information goes around, so you know who's communicating with what. And so we've been talking a little bit about this. And as the whole world wants to go to RCS, the problem is that Google has created the standard and refuses to share it with anybody, such that the outside of Google, the biggest company running Android phones is Samsung, and Samsung is going to completely shut down its text messaging app in July. So that's only, 3 months, 3 months away? About 3 months away. Samsung messages will completely stop working. Everybody is going to have to go to Google Messenger. Unless, of course, in fact, Samsung's actively shutting it down. The only people you will be able to text on that is emergency services and emergency contacts. You will not even be able to send basic SMS. On a Samsung device, you will have to download Google Messenger. All right. And of course, with Google Messenger, that means that all of the servers are going, all of the messages are routing through Google's servers. So the company will discontinue Samsung messaging in July, replace it with Google Messages and the default for Galaxy devices. They confirmed the timeline is official, and they said the messaging app will no longer function in July. All right. They said the messaging app will stop except emergency service numbers or emergency contacts. So Google Messenger, my apologies. Google Messenger is now the default. Samsung is directing users to Google Messenger as a replacement which is already the standard messaging app across Android. So that's kind of the problem, is that now anytime you want to send a text message, you now have to use Google Messenger. Motorola, no longer a standalone app. It's got to be Google Messenger. You're on AT&T. They used to have a dedicated text messaging app through AT&T. Nope, that's gone. Google Messenger. Every platform is now Google Messenger. They refuse to work with other companies. There is no other protocol. There is no open source application which supports RCS, and every single message goes through Google servers. All right. What was kind of funny is that the FBI even gave us a warning. Stop texting. The FBI warns, warning drives Apple's iPhone messages updates. So Apple is now preparing to use encrypted RCS support for iPhones. Now, this is a two-part step. If you're going iPhone to another iPhone, it still continues to use iMessage, and those messages go through what Apple has been doing. But if you are messaging an iMessage down to anybody on Android, it goes RCS, and it routes every one of those text messages through Google servers to route it via RCS. And that really is part of the problem. Of course, we've kind of talked about the green bubble stuff, and the RCS is coming in to replace the old SMS. Of course, what's wrong with SMS? It's just raw, unattexted text messages going throughout the air, which means it's a lot easier to intercept. And that's one of those things they're looking at. So, but it's not often a piece of FBI advice triggers a Snopes fact check, but the agency's urgent messages, much to Americans, often summarized as "stop texting," surprised many consumers. Why? Because traditional SMS or standard unencrypted RCS lacked end-to-end encryption, leaving users vulnerable. So what's actually changing? Of course, they're implementing RCS inside of your Apple devices. And this is actually coming with the upcoming iOS 26.5 update. This is going to bring RCS to iMessage text messaging. Here's actually the report from December of 2024. FBI is warning Apple and Android users to avoid RCS messaging. Okay, this has to do with the when the Salt Typhoon was in there and the Chinese guys were hanging around in the wiretapping things that were backdoored into the telecom communications for the FBI to spy on people. Yeah, the Chinese were on there spying on people, so, you know. That was what was going on, and they warned not to use RCS, and really the big problem is that RCS is being branded as this amazing service. It's all encrypted. It's super safe. The reality is it is not much safer. Let me go ahead and walk through this. Now, this is from the privacy report. We're going to look at this one extensively because it has some tremendous information in it. Okay, so we kind of get into it. Oh, of course, it didn't highlight any of my messages. That's okay. I highlighted sections for most of this. So obviously we've talked about the RCS. It's being pushed. What exactly is RCS and how is it different? So it allows high resolution photos and videos, has read receipts and typing indicators because we're all neurotic and need that now. You can have encrypted, well, actually iMessage, you can still have encrypted group chats. RCS does not yet support encrypted group chats, but you can better manage them. As long as I can choose to exit the group chat, that'd be awesome. You know, Wi-Fi messaging instead of cellular only, which means it'll use data connections instead of cellular connections, and that kind of is an important thing. So over here, is RCS messaging secure by default? No, it is not inherently end-to-end encrypted. Okay, it is being branded as encrypted, but it is not inherently end-to-end encrypted. Okay, your messages may pass through Google servicers, your carrier's RCS background, and third-party messaging hubs. The problem is Google will not release the standards, so the only place right now is Google servers. So all RCS messages, to my understanding, all still go through Google servers. So some RCS implementations support end-to-end encryption, and even then, it typically only works in one-to-one chats, not group conversations, and Google even mentions that. So many people think RCS messages are encrypted like iMessages are. They are not. So because of this, RCS messages could in fact be seen by your carrier. Google, since if you're using Google Messenger, if you've been paying attention, Google Messenger is the only place that supports this. Which means every server going through Google may possibly use this, and some of the help documents suggest that they probably can. All right. They have extensive filters to block spam from coming into your inbox. How do they do that? Divination. It's divination. They can sense the spam, or they can read the messages. Device manufacturers, or even law enforcement, because everything passing through Google kind of is there. Even when it's encrypted, metadata is still exposed. So that's different. So does it use end-to-end encryption, and when does it fail? So here's how it works. You and your contact must both use Google Messenger. And then both devices must support Google's E2EE implementation. And then the conversation has to be one-to-one, and RCS must be enabled and connected at the time of sending, which means if you're a paranoid freak like me and you may have your phone in a Faraday box, your phone is not encrypted. And if your phone is ever not encrypted or doesn't have data or is asleep or is powered off, those messages are not encrypted. They fall back silently to SMS. And so if any condition fails, the message falls back to unencrypted RCS or even plain SMS. Here's the problem. The biggest privacy flaw is not weak encryption. It's the silent downgrade. Secure messages fail loudly. RCS fails quietly. So they have a comparison chart looking at how this works. Here's your RCS column over here. End-to-end encryption is partial. Metadata minimalization is weak. Open protocol, yes. Carrier involvement, yes. Group enabled, no. So you'll actually see Signal really is the best overall here. Then there's WhatsApp, and there's iMessage here as well. WhatsApp and iMessage are pretty much the same. Of course, WhatsApp is a Facebook company, so trust comes with a grain of salt when you're passing all your stuff through one hacker way. When your company is founded by a hacker who chooses to name the road he creates for his company, and he chooses one hacker way. Call me crazy if I don't want to put my information through their servers. I'm just nuts. You'll figure that out if you're watching this. All right. So, of course, ultimately, it's not as good as it is pushed out to be. And the biggest challenge here is that everybody is being forced to stop using these on their phones and go into Google Messenger. Why do people overestimate the security? Because of the encrypted marketing language without context, it has association with Google, and they keep on comparing it with SMS, which is a bar that's about as low to the floor as a butter knife you just dropped. Okay, so obviously, should privacy-conscious users enable or disable it? And obviously, it should be treated as a stopgap, not a solution. And ultimately, the challenge here is that it is not nearly as good as many people suggest that it might be. And so there are obviously some serious flaws with RCS, yet the whole world is being forced to RCS, which will route most messages, at least those that are not on iPhones, to route themselves through the Google servers. And I will let you decide if that is a good thing or a bad thing. Let me know your thoughts about all those in the comments down below. All right, let's have a look at we're going to look at Matrix first. See what's going on over there. All right. We got a lot. Oh boy, we got a lot. Oh, I see Ivan and his band hammers up there too. All right. Be nice. The band hammer will come. Thor will come reckoning. All right, let's see. The mallet needs a Rust rewrite. What? If you use Rust to rewrite the band hammer, the thing won't work anymore. He'll swing at one guy, he'll end up banning me accidentally. Man. All right, SimpleX, there you go. So we've been having a discussion about that on the supporters thread, having a look at SimpleX, which I don't know much about it, but maybe I will dig into it a little bit more detail here soon. All right, comment break timer started. All right, we got 9 watching over on Rumble. Ivan's on over there. Dan's over there. Hello, Ivan and Dan. And looks like just Ivan and Dan over there. And we got 14 currently watching on Odyssey. Odyssey has a new uploader. It's taken some get used to. All right. Ivan's over there. Ela Swirl, greetings. Peekaboo. Ah, it's a ghost. All right. Typing this from a 2009 MacBook that ordered pizza for tonight, and hopefully my stuff comes next week, so I'm back on the desktop. I hope that you didn't order your pizza for next week. I hope the pizza was for today. Anyway. Yes, MacBook is on Debian 12. XFCE, and when running post-market OS needs a camera app that doesn't come with a Shrek tint. Try the Cosmic Camera app. All right. Cosmic Camera app if you are dealing with Shrek on your post-market OS. The food is here. Sweet. Nom, 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 nom. Also, looked like chat was quiet last week while I was gone. It was a little quiet. Yep. 4th month next year. Look. All right. First of the month is a Thursday. Okay. What about adding that on a fiber network? Renting gateway. Adding what on a fiber network? My van on a fiber network? RCS on Apple. Didn't Apple have its own messaging platform? Yeah, the problem is that iMessaging platform, if you're on iMessage and you text an Android phone, it defaults to regular SMS, and they're trying to default it to RCS through Google servers instead. Because I gotta have everything to Google. Why not? RCS or SMS, GUMI or phone provider. Yep. What about for family? There you go. All right, food was for today. That's good. 46 watching on Z2Bs. Let's go ahead and have a look at the up there. Claude Mythos Skynet situation, kind of concerning. I did not get a chance to look into it yet, but you know, if the end of the world is coming, I'd rather look at it into it at my own leisure. So, yes, I could see your first comment up there. Indeed, it terrified us too much to say anything, but you know, Mr. Snipes, greetings to you. Night of Light, hello. Plan to remove all 486 support from the Linux kernel soon. Yeah, which, since there's still LTS kernels, it won't have that big of an impact. I mean, we'll still have a few years before it'll stop it. But they basically said there's so few of them. So I don't know. I personally don't care, but I don't know. Maybe I should get that one computer in my storage locker working. It originally shipped with Windows 98. I should try and get that working before they drop support because I have no idea what's in that thing. Right. Make it. I hope you're getting better. All right. Allergy Susan here in the South can be rough. Uh-oh. Yeah. Lots of goldenrod up here in the summer. So, good note. My sister got a job this week working for Masters champion Roy McElvery, cleaning his house as a personal assistant. Very nice. That's pretty cool. 2-story house out there. Nice. Hello, KO2610. Your number has been called. There the other day from 6P to 6A. The other day getting ready before they got there. Nice. Buffer. All right, let's see. Let me know when I can let go. Has to be the coffee. Maybe the craziness today might be the fact I've had 2 coffees and now I'm on a caffeinated tea. Yay! Tasty and lots of sugar. Lots of sugar. I found some Skittles jelly beans today. They were really good. I had half the bag. It was a big bag. Apparently some YouTuber had a problem with YouTube deleting everyone's chat in their live stream. Could be latency issue. No, I don't think so because I use a restreaming system. And if there was some latency issue, it would have impacted everything. And it seems to only be impacting YouTube. But I don't know. Did the other streaming platforms buffer, I guess? If you do not want a data breach, then don't put it online. Yep, offline, better keep it on paper. Yep, the kettle calling the pot black. There you go. Biggest issue with Odyssey is their website is kind of a mess trying to find creators, and yes, I use Rumble as my main YouTube alternative. There you go. Or if you're a clickbait YouTuber, no one should buy from Wish or Temu. Yeah. It's Gulag, not Google. Okay, I'll get that right. Just build a PC on Temu. What could go wrong? I know, nothing could go wrong. It's just a computer. It doesn't matter where you buy it. I mean, you'll put the thing together on Temu. You'll pay like $300 for it because it's supposed to be cheap, and you'll get a Lego computer. That's what's going to happen. All right. Is Flock and Palantir also in danger in Canada? I don't know if they're operating in Canada or not. I have not looked into it. The Gulag Pay Store. There you go. Care about the Chinese or even my country too. All right. Did you just censor hell? Me? I don't remember. Oh, Commodore fan. Years back when Face Crack tried to get me to upload my contact list. I was like, heck no. AG double Husky sticks, no. All right. Well, I was just kind of dead in the water with the client not getting updates. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be doing in better shape. They just rolled out a new uploader here the last day or so. Let's see. Do uBlock Origin block spying pixel? uBlock Origin, I do not believe by default they do, but as a browser extension, use Privacy Badger from the EFF. That one does block the pixels. That's actually designed for the tracking pixels. Critters on Rumble get 100% of the money from Super Chats. Hey, that is a reminder. We do have a lot of Super Chats here on YouTube or over on Rumble. You can use over there. Odyssey is free as Freedom software. Yep. Rumble, even if you get $2 to the creator, you can type 200 characters when YouTube limits you. Yep. So Rumble only block less than a handful of words on Super Chats. We have to get creative on YouTube. Yep. BitChute account as well, but I rarely use it these days. Their advantage is lower data usage if you're on a slow or limited data collect. Yeah, I think like YouTube gives you a lot more options to adjust your bandwidth. Rumble has a few options, but it's like insane amounts of data or a little bit of or a bunch of data or no data at all. It's not a wide range. So yeah, number ad list. Ivan's blocked over 3 million domains. Very nice. Not use RCS. It sucks and forced to have mobile data always. Yep. I remember the day of dial-up. I remember my 33.6 robotics modem. Yep, I had a 33.6 in my first computer. Sadly, some people force me to read stuff more than I want. And for me, I don't have the internet, so I don't know how to use a computer without the internet. Okay. All right. We had dial-up and hoped the number wasn't busy. It wasn't cheap either, having two phone lines. Yep. Girlfriend like that, we would get crazy if I didn't answer ASAP, but she would sometimes take hours to reply back. Come on, she can take a long time, just not you. Really hate me to leave messages and unseen for weeks. Yeah. Right. So know how to video chat more than one person in Google Meet the way I did in Google Hangouts. I have no idea. I can't help you there, man. All right, started with Linux back in Debian 2.1. I hate tech now. Bought a dirt bike instead. There you go. All right. Reason I'm single in my mid-40s. No desire to try again unless someone really special comes along. There you go. Everyone uses Facebook, but I do not, so I don't get messages unless they get a hold of family to tell me. Don't use face slop, all right? Chinese supercomputer got hacked? That's funny. Still use SMS, I hope, and not the spyware RCS. Yeah, well, depends on what you got going on, I guess. Okay, society did not force it. I will use my phone less. I hate having it every time to verify having to call someone. YubiKeys, man. YubiKeys. What's worse, RCS or Apple's BS? Definitely. Okay. YouTube chat did that thing again. I lost a bunch of messages. Where was it at? Toyota, Rivian, and a few others now support the Apple key system. Oh, boy. Yeah, count me out of that. Give me a good old-fashioned key. That's all I want. Okay, let's see. I'm on Android tablet tonight. Now on my laptops, desktops, either run Manjaro GNOME or Manjaro XFCE. Turns out I mixed up Odyssey with Protocol and was using Library, which is the main company, seems to go out of business from a quick search. Yeah, so Odyssey is a successor to Library. The SEC put Library out of business because they said that the cryptocurrency they were using as their exchange was an unregulated security, and so Library just folded up and said, "Yep, okay, you can have the assets," and they just made the jump to Odyssey. So yeah, it was the government. They found themselves on the line of government. Did they ever find out who took all the Kit Kats? No, but there was an interesting video from Canada, I think, this week, where they had a Kit Kat truck surrounded by a bunch of dark SUVs going down a highway. It was kind of funny. Okay. uBlock privacy badger is good, but can break the YouTubes. Yeah. Video look out of sync in the audio for me. I mean, just refresh the page if it's out of sync. Probably because what YouTube did with all the crazy stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on over to the QuickLines after I get Kermit out of my throat here. All right, Kermit has been dislodged. All right, get rid of that and that. And let me come on down to our QuickLines. There we are. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup and the QuickLines edition. And today our main stories, we are talking about Microsoft deciding to kill the dev accounts for a whole bunch of very, very important security-minded software packages. And, yeah, it's not turning out well. There are 3 of them. I have the articles on WireGuard and VeraCrypt. If there is a critical vulnerability that shows up, it ain't getting patched, folks. WireGuard is used for protocols for Proton, Malvad VPNs, and a bunch of other security things. Obviously, VeraCrypt, you can do a full disk encryption or file encryption with VeraCrypt. Again, your VeraCrypt keys may stop working in July if this is not patched, because the keys will be revoked and the developer has lost access to their account and they cannot get in. And the other one was it Windscribe, I think, also lost their developer account. And this apparently comes out of nowhere. Why? They had a very, very, very naughty thing. They did not know that they had to give their government ID to Microsoft. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. So WireGuard VPN developer cannot ship software updates after Microsoft locks the account. So this is a major VPN company. Of course, there's 2 main protocols, WireGuard and OpenVPN. I'm actually using OpenVPN for mine because WireGuard turns out requires systemd on Linux. So, and since one of my main computers I use with that is MX Linux, and I couldn't actually get WireGuard to work because, yeah, I have an MX Linux without systemd. So I had to switch over my VPN to OpenVPN. But WireGuard is still a very good protocol. It is actually faster than OpenVPN. There's serious reasons you should consider using it. However, right now the developer is completely locked out. He mentions in a post on X that the account determination stopped WireGuard updates from shipping because there were updates that need to be pushed, and he got in there, and it turns out that Microsoft has this developer account thing that anybody pushing software that needs drivers signed need to verify their IDs every once in a while by sharing a government ID with Microsoft. And they apparently had to go ahead and do this again. However, Microsoft did not let anybody know, gave no notifications, and simply banned the accounts that did not give government IDs under the time frame that Microsoft never told them. And now, of course, you have 3 major companies with major security software that cannot even get a hold of Microsoft. I believe WireGuard, since I read the article, I think WireGuard has now been able to get in contact with them. Nobody else has. In fact, Windscribe even put out a post on X saying, hey, if there's anybody with a Microsoft with a brain that still works there, please reach out to us. We would like to continue to update our software. But this is kind of a big problem that Microsoft has no means of reaching them. And this should be a fundamental problem. I think any company providing any service to a person has to have a way for a human to contact them. But that could take so much time. So be it. You got billions of dollars. Y'all can figure it out. I mean, even if it's some stupid Indian data center, who knows, you know? But that's just crazy. So account verification process meant developers were required to upload government-issued IDs before they were allowed to publish potentially sensitive code to the broader Windows user base. Microsoft never sent me a notification. I looked in every inbox, every spam folder, every mail log, 0, nothing, zilch, he said. So the hardware program verification program has now concluded, and developers that have not uploaded their documents simply had their accounts suspended, and there is no way to reach out to them. Yeah. So that's WireGuard. VeraCrypt, very similar story on VeraCrypt. And of course, the downside on VeraCrypt here is that in July, those signing keys cycle. And if you happen to have VeraCrypt decrypting your computer, it's going to stop working in July if they cannot get this resolved. And so this is a serious fundamental problem, major problem with Microsoft here. This needs regulatory attention. This needs the crazy psychopaths, the drunken lunatics in Congress, all those apes and monkeys on Capitol Hill to look into this and go, ooh, take another swig and slap Microsoft for something. I don't know. But it should not be a case that open source security software that millions of people are using for applications and for their Windows devices simply get banned and Microsoft has no recourse. Because, you know, we get more money if we lay off the entire team that communicates with people. And that kind of is part of the problem. All right, well, there's Microslop. This is fun here. Android alert, 50 Google Play apps linked to no voice malware reached 2.3 million downloads. Of course, you can only download these apps through the Google Play Store, which I was told has the utmost privacy and security. Of course, they're not telling us what any of these 50 Android apps are. They just silently disappeared. And I would really like to look into this because I really, really want to look at these apps and look at their developers pages and see if these developers are actually verified through Google's ID verification program. And if they are they using their real identities or are they using stolen identities that they stole from, you know, Discord or related services, you know, maybe T for him, T for her, you know, whatever, because everybody wants your government ID now to verify you. Everyone gives it over because, you know, I'm dumb and I have to have my app in my service. And then the IDs get stolen because they're all just using third parties. The third parties don't really care. Data gets breached and some crazy scammer uses your ID to verify their identity to upload malware to Google. I kind of want to know what these apps are because it seems to me like that'd be a little important. But these were apps that were sleeping malware. They basically launched out. Some of these have been out there for almost a decade, and then they all of a sudden turned on and started doing all sorts of weird shenanigan-y things. And of course, they were all downloaded from the Google Play Store. They were all Google Play, you know, Google Play certified. They were Google Play safe, and I don't know if they were ID verified, which we can't tell because they're not publishing the list of apps. Maybe we should look into that, shouldn't we? That's kind of frightening. All right, and into our next quick line. This is an update on the, you either have a fake toll message or a fake traffic ticket. You know, I was driving through a little city there by Cleveland, Parma Heights. They have a really good, the Exchange store out there if you're from Parma Heights. I stopped by there. Actually, they had like the first movie I was ever looking at. When I wrote out my list in the 90s, movies to get, I had some movies on there way back then. They actually had some of those in stock. I heard about that, so I drove through Parma Heights, stopped by the Exchange. It was an awesome store, picked up about, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks worth of movies and such. There was a big old stack of movies too. It was awesome. Great time. I'm driving through Parma Heights, and Parma Heights in Ohio there, they have traffic cameras everywhere and signs all over the place that we're going to, you know, all traffic citations are done with these things. And nothing makes you drive more paranoid, like a more paranoid freak than all these cameras and all these signs warning that these cameras are going to send you fines, you know? So I'm driving through Parma Heights completely aware or unaware. Like, I think I'm driving well, but I don't know if the camera thinks I'm driving well or not. And so, you know, I might get some random text like, you violated some law over here in Parma Heights, you know? And now there's a new update to this because they realize people have learned that the links there, and people have learned to look at this, I don't know, I just don't think .xyz is probably a legitimate place to pay my thing. So now they've upgraded. Now they're doing QR codes because we've all been trained like a bunch of monkeys. Give me some fruit. You know, we're all trained to do that kind of stuff. And we just click the scan the QR codes. I must have some fine. Scan the QR code like a moron. And boom, they steal all your information. So, you know, new scam, but old scam, new way of doing your scam, we should say. So just be aware of that. You get QR codes in your email, guys, don't scan QR codes. Don't scan QR codes. If you must, use something that does not automatically take you there. Use something like, I know Graphene OS's camera can do a QR code and it will tell you where it wants to go, and then you have the option to go there or not. Things like that are certainly it. All right, a couple new workplace scams. Actually, this is job recruitment scams coming out. This is becoming a huge issue right now because, and I think there's some regulatory oversight is needed here. I watched some of the recruiting manager YouTube videos and things because I just find the market fascinating. Of course, I like Joshua Fluke does a lot of things of corporate nonsense and recruiting scams, and these companies are like, you can't use AI, and you go in for your first interview and you're interviewing with an AI bot. Like, wonderful. Right? And so looking at the different companies, one thing that some of these guys, the one guy that has the channel, I think Life After Layoff or something like that. That channel there, that's a fascinating channel. He looks at some of this kind of stuff here. And he goes into a lot talking about the ghost jobs. So a lot of companies just post jobs they have no intention of hiring for. Sometimes they're just collecting resumes in case they find some unicorn that's like, wow, this is let's bring them in for something. Sometimes they just post these jobs they're not intending to hire for just to make the other people in the company scared to think they're replaceable. Sometimes they're just doing it to make themselves look profitable to the shareholders, so the shareholders keep on putting more money in. There's a number of different ways. I think that's the first regulatory thing we need to do. Any job being promoted must be a job you're actively seeking to employ. And give these companies massive fines if they're caught promoting jobs that they're not actually hiring for. Just stop it. The second problem we have is there's a whole lot of scammers out there that realize everybody's looking for a job. And right now it's not uncommon to have to put out 100, 200, 300, 500 or more job applications just to get one callback. And that callback might even be a scammer. And so in this environment where so many people are losing their jobs, mostly thanks to AI, and so many ghost jobs out there, and the entire way of looking for a job now is just absolutely insane. Like here's a brief tip for you, a little parenthetical to what I'm talking about here. If you are in the market for a new job, go get a new phone with a Mint Mobile 3-month card. Establish yourself a new email address, Tuta Mail, Proton Mail, whatever else. Get yourself one specific phone number, one specific address. Use that information out while you're looking for a job. When you find that real legitimate job, go through and get it. Cancel those, give them your real information, and then you're good to go. That's probably a better bet so that your information doesn't get completely caught up, A, in every single data broker's data set, and B, into every single scammer's data set. The two places you don't want your data to be. All right, so what these are here, there's two new ones here. One of these is from Coca-Cola, allegedly. It's not. And the other one from Ferrari. Definitely not a hot job prospect. All right, so these ones here are tricking you into handling over your Google work account credentials through a fake sign-in page that even works on a command and control server on the back end to actually harvest your SMS tokens as well. Hint, pro tip, if your Google account is locked with a YubiKey, they can't bypass that. They can't get into it. Only if you're doing some type of key, like an SMS type key or something like that, they can get into it. Though it's relying on the input to an attacker-controlled backend to dynamically serving two-factor authentication prompts based on the server's response. And so effectively you go in here. Now, one of the things that this Coca-Cola scam is doing here is the first is it's actually forcing you to use you can't use a gmail.com address. They want you to actually use a company type address that's still a Google server. This is kind of built weird. I wouldn't do that if I were the scammer because it completely prevents a whole lot of people from getting in here. But, maybe they're just trying to harvest, companies' Google domains to steal data from the company itself. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. It just doesn't seem good, but it's this perfect overlay. It's hey, it's a Calendly event. You hit this over there. You have to log in with your Google login. So you get what looks like an official Google login. It even says up here at the top, let's see if we can see it. It even says up here accounts.google.com sign. So it even looks legitimate, even though it's actually a fake window. But the whole thing it's doing is it's harvesting your information, including your two-factor authentication codes. Again, a passkey can't get into that because he can't transmit the passkey. So if you're using the YubiKeys or some hardware passkey, you're safe, but most people are still doing the SMS type stuff, and that is allowing it to be stolen. So basically, they don't want the gmail.com addresses, but they're using the work or business emails instead. So this one is actually targeting people who already have a job, not people that are out of work and looking for one. The other one here, this one will target anybody because effectively they just want your Facebook credentials. So you've been invited to apply to Ferrari's marketing team. Yeah. In my inbox. Wow, you found me. I've always wanted to be a marketer for a Ferrari, you know. And so when you click the link, you have to enter your email, but then you're redirected to the Facebook login page. Even looking at this, continue with Facebook or email address. Continue with email. Facebook required is what that red button says. And so effectively, they want to harvest your Facebook information, and then that's going to get in there and steal all of your data. So there you go. Isn't that wonderful stuff? How great. All right. So that's what they're doing there. Couple data leaks. Hims and Hers customer data leaked. Who's Hims and Hers? Yeah, it's one of these third-party providers for medical companies that you've probably never heard of, but they collect data. They are a third-party back end for like millions and millions of people, and their data just leaked because, you know, they're just providing a service. Some private equity firm hired the cheapest bidders out of like India or something. Who knows? They might have been the guys to break into it. Who knows, right? Those companies outsource or customer support the third-party platform. Every one of those platforms becomes another door someone can try to kick in. Company is notifying customers that hackers broke into the customer service platform and stole support tickets. Hims and Hers is one of America's biggest direct-to-consumer telehealth brands, offering subscription-based treatments for hair loss, yang, twang, mental health, skincare, and weight loss with annual revenues approaching $1 billion. If only they took a little bit of that money and hired a real security team. All right, so February, they detected suspicious activity in its third-party customer service platform. They found between February 4th and 7th attackers accessed and stole customer service tickets, and the company didn't confirm it until a month later, March 3rd, that information was actually stolen, including all the various things that you were doing. How wonderful indeed. So, third parties. We need to just ban third parties. If your company cannot make it work without bringing in a third party, I don't know. I just think you need to stop doing business. Slow it down a little bit here, you know. All right, I have to change my opinion on this one after reading this article. All right, so my past opinion has been, okay, you're bringing a data center, you have to bring your power company with you. Okay. The question, the caveat here is, what is the source of that power? And the reason I want to mention this, again, it's not a full total change. I don't think a data center should go up in some area where it's going to suck power off the grid and drive up electricity prices for everybody, because as we covered in a report before, that the companies would move in, they negotiate a really low power rate. The power company then drives up your rates as the consumer. So you end up paying more, and then the company pays a lot less for electricity. And so there's been proposals that suggest that every data center has to come with its own power company, like power supply source. And that's what I agree with in principle. The problem here is that this data center is coming up with natural gas power plants. And that means natural gas, a finite resource, is being siphoned off, and we have the exact same problem. Whether it comes, the cost is coming from the cost of the natural gas or the cost of the electricity generated by the natural gas, anytime a data center is impacting the customer, the endpoint customer residential supply, it's going to cause problems. And for this basis, while I still agree that data centers, any new data centers have to come with their own power, I also think that those power systems should be completely independent of any form of residential power. So they must work within the confines of solar or wind or something else that does not impact other consumer electricity. Nuclear might be the best. We have a lot of much safer nuclear technology than we had years ago. That might actually be the best way to go. But looking through this, and the biggest concern is if the AI companies are coming in and building natural gas power plants, now they need a bunch of natural gas, and we're going to have the exact same thing happening with this as we are going to have happening with RAM prices right now. All the data centers want the RAM prices went up 400%. Well, if all the data centers now want all the natural gas, what do you think is going to happen to natural gas prices? I bet that's going to go up 400% too. Yeah. And all this, by the way, if the more you as a society, we as a society use AI for useless things, the worse this is going to get. When we start rejecting AI for purposes that it does not actually have to be used for, we will be in a better place. People should be running their own offline AI models. People should be using it only for that what they have to. No more cats versus robot videos. Yes, they're cute. Yes, they're funny. But I don't want to pay 4 times more, 5 times more for electricity so that you can have a cat fighting a robot video on YouTube. That's retarded. Stop. But the more you keep driving it, the more of these data centers they build, the higher the prices of everything is going to go on. We are going to be priced out of the world so that we can have cat versus robot on a stupid short on YouTube. It's not worth it. We need to stop. But that's kind of this whole article. I kind of went into it pretty much. What down here, the scramble for natural gas has led to a shortage of turbines for power plants, with prices likely to rise 195% by the end of the year relative to 2019 prices. Wonderful. So there you go. Natural gas isn't an unlimited resource. If the ambitions grow too big, even behind the meter operations could soon drive up power prices for everyone. We've all seen how that has played out. So yeah, I have to say we have to caveat now my view that data centers have to come with their own power plants, and those power plants have to be completely independent from residential or basic consumer power systems. So there you go. All right. Couple Netflix videos here. First, Netflix must refund customers for years of price hikes in an Italian court rules. So there's a law in Italy that if you have a service that the price is going to go up, you have to justify in the initial contract that the price is going up. You can't do what Netflix has been doing and just go in and, hey, we're raising our prices this year, because there's no justification in the terms. Now, they are forced to pay back each customer up to about 500 euros, starting in the 2017, 19, 21, and 24 price hikes were all deemed unlawful. Unfortunately, after this lawsuit was filed, Netflix changed its terms addressing this, and so all future price hikes are going to be perfectly legal. Even though the court literally just found you have violated our law, of course, the moronic customer service person down here says, where's it at? We take consumer rights very seriously and believe our terms and conditions have always been in line with the Italian law and practice. You know that's a spokesperson is speaking because their lips are moving. Because they're saying here, we have always been in follow with law and practice. Well, the judge disagreed with you, Netflix. Why don't you take that customer service person and boot him out of your company because he's clearly a retard? Okay? Like, we have always followed customer service practices, and we have always followed the law. The judge disagreed with you. Come on, man. What's going on? All right. But anyway, so they have to refund back up to $500 to a person. Basically, anybody, any amount of money you paid over what your original contract was is what's going to go on. So they have then said any price hikes after 2025 are legal. So there you have it. We need that. Now, of course, oh God. This is an interesting one. So Netflix is now expanding into kids' games with a new standalone app. So there you go, guys. Now you can, from the creators of Cuties, which sexualize little girls, and that crazy, nasty cartoon, which they had them involved in some form of sausage tossing. I don't know what to say about that. This is that company, and now they want to make apps for your kids. No, Netflix is a bunch of perverts. Okay, don't let them near your children. But they say that the app gives children access to an ever-growing library of games for kids featuring all of their favorite cartoons. It can be accessible offline without mobile or Wi-Fi connection. The company says it makes it the perfect companion for large airplane rides or grocery trips. That's all we need. More children staring at screens, meandering like zombies through the grocery store. Here you go, guys. Watch out. Don't install this on your children's phone. In fact, if you have a phone for your child, break it, please. Tablets, break those too. They do not need these devices. Netflix is like positively promoting the iPad kid. Okay, this is a problem. Building a world where kids can not only watch their favorite stories, they can step inside them and interact with their favorite characters. Sounds like they're inducing addiction here. You know, didn't Meta and YouTube both lose lawsuits in California and in New Mexico over addictive social media platforms? And here's Netflix. Hey guys, here's an offline video game system. Came up with in our perverted boardrooms. It also came up with Cuties and that other perverted cartoon show, and now we are going to use this so that your children can be perpetually watching our stuff even when they don't even have internet. It's like that Rivian commercial, right? Driving, is it Rivian? I forget. It was like some car commercial driving around. How's your connection? Oh, it's good. How's your connection? It's good. How's your connection? Oh, I don't have any connection, Dad. Perfect. We're going to camp here. Why don't you just be a man and take the phone away from the kid? You know what I mean? Y'all know what that car commercial was? I don't know. But anyway, here's Netflix over here wanting to get your children addicted to an app here. Brought to you by the perverts at Netflix. All right. How wonderful. Well, just in time for Graphene OS to come up with the Motorola phones. Motorola suddenly rising their budget phones by up to 50%. That's right. The brand new Moto G phone is going to start at $400. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's $300. The Moto G Power is now $400. So the lowest line, the Moto G, is $300. The higher one, the Power, is $400. But still, $300. And I don't pay $300 for phones. Of course, they'll probably put that graphene as an extra cost. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when the graphene comes out with Motorola. But anyway, Moto Series G occupies an important place on smartphone. Before the first gen G launched, phones that cost under $200 were universally terrible. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Motorola's either because, well, to unlock the bootloader, you have to beg them for permission on the phone that you paid for. So I don't like that. But that's what Motorola's up to. We still have our SillyVille section next. So let's see what's going on in SillyVille. First up, we have this octogenarian has had Dodgers season tickets for 50 years. And they will not print out his tickets for him anymore. He has to use a smartphone with that digital tickets app, which is completely stupid. We need to stop putting together a society assuming everybody has a smartphone, especially since there has been a resurgence in dumb phones. You know, I'm not getting tickets on my device. In fact, we were talking about this out here with friends, and I guess it was either a Penn State game or something else that was going on. And they said, yeah, you can't even take a screenshot of the ticket. It has to be inside the secure wallet app. Which is even stupider. It's like, what is going on with this world, you know? But here's a guy that for 50 years, now, they said he can still go and get tickets printed that day at the game, but he can't have them print the whole season tickets. And he says this is stupid. He says clearly the printers work. You just don't want to. And this is one of those crazy things. It's like, dude, man, hey, Dodgers, all right, this guy is dedicated. 50 straight years in a row without missing, this man buys season tickets. You want to be so petty to say, sorry, old geezer, you got to get yourself a different phone to get your tickets. What kind of society do we live in? Dodgers, you should be ashamed. All right. This is SillyVille, but it's quite tragic. A patient dies in a Connecticut hospital because their ICU was run by a telehealth doctor. Probably some dude in like India. Hello, how may I help you? Oh, you are dying. Push the red button next to the phone. Call the nurse. I am not here. I am in Calcutta. I can't help you right now. All right. So, patient dies. Connecticut hospital is sued for running ICU with a telehealth doctor. Yeah. Got a cut that's starting to look infected? Just call a doctor. Hold it through into the camera. He or she orders your prescription. Easy as you please. However, Yale New Haven's Bridgeport Hospital in Milford, Connecticut has allegedly taken the idea of telehealth to a whole new level. The hospital is being sued for running telehealth intensive care ICU unit after a patient dies. I mean, guys, if I walk into a hotel that I've booked a room and I walk in and I'm greeted with a guy in India on an iPad, I am walking out and I'm getting my refund. Okay. I am going into the hotel for the experience. I expect you to be hiring some minimum wage kid to sit behind the desk all night. Okay. Is that too much to ask? Do you have to pay the Indian 2 cents to be there? I mean, really? But if I walk into a hospital and you get this, dude, I'm finding a witch doctor, okay? I trust the witch doctor before the telehealth doctor, all right? I want the whole skulls around the neck and everything. Find me a witch doctor. I ain't going for your telehealth. Oh, dear. What is our world coming to? What a world, what a world, what a world. And for our last story, I'm pleased to announce that the end of the self-driving trucks. Because it's not enough that they're running around school buses with the stop signs out. No. Outrage has finally struck because a self-driving car in Texas hit a mother duck. Never mind the kids. You can abort babies all day long, but how dare you hurt the animal? You know, it's more illegal in America to kill an eagle's egg than it is to kill a human's egg. Yikes. But a self-driving car in Texas hit and killed the mother duck, and the neighborhood is now outraged. They weren't outraged, mind you, when the cars are passing the school buses with the stop signs out. That's not outrage. That's a mean letter. No. Protests. A duck was killed. The duck was killed. The death of a duck in Austin, Texas, enclave of a Mueller Lake, has neighbors raising concerns about autonomous vehicles. So the fact one of these killed people isn't the problem to you. Gotta save the duck. What does Howard say? Humans are responsible for killing animals with their cars all the time. This incident brought negative attention to the new technology. Local media picked up on the duck incident after a resident posted in a Mueller neighborhood Facebook group that an Arvid autonomous vehicle with a human safety driver operator behind the wheel ran over and killed a duck and did not stop afterwards. It didn't slow down or hesitate. It steamrolled right on through. All right. Residents' familiarity with this particular duck, which was nesting on a pot located outside of the local Italian eatery, has added to the outrage and mistrust of the autonomous vehicle technology. Did TechCrunch do such an impassioned article when it's running past school buses with the lights on? Yeah. Oh. Resident claimed their post that the vehicle failed to stop at a stop sign. No, we don't care that it ran over the stop sign. We just care that it killed the duck. Yeah. So we can expect the end of self-driving cars in Austin, Texas now because the duck has been harmed. Well, if you enjoyed this video from this raving mad lunatic, have a look at our support page, switchedtolinux.com/support if you want to help support the channel. We have subscribed to our Patreon locals over there. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right, let's go ahead and feed the beast. All right. Yeah, kitty, we're feeding you. Yes, we are. I think you're blind, though. Can you see me? Can you see me? there you are. Yeah. What do you think, huh? Oh, you smell something good, huh? Yes, you do. It's right here. Right here. There you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. One more. Oh, yeah. There you go. You're senile and getting old, so we'll start giving you 4 now. Yeah, you go, girl, huh? I don't want it. What you want? Yeah, you want. What you want? All right, the kitty has been fed. So let's go ahead and have a look at our closing comments here. And come on, Matrix. You can do it, Matrix. You can do it. All right. I need to close the gap between far left and far right. That ship has sailed. Yeah. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. Left is too far gone now. Yeah. GNOME really is the worst desktop environment. I don't know. I'd hate to agree, but I think I kind of do. Full woke and anti-X11, yeah. Linux could be subverted and sabotaged like Xorg, then taken. Yeah, except there's distros that are coming out now that are, that are running shipping Libra X and, non-systemd stuff. So there's still a counter rebellion that works. Let's see, X11ism. Yeah. So the R word, I'll allow it. There you go. I'll allow it. Rheumatism. Yes, I said rheumatism a whole bunch of times. Children should not be on the internet. Video games with internet access should be rated M. Yeah, there you go. Roblox is doing age verification. Yeah, I'm not age verified, so you can put me in the group with all the children. Wait, what? Whole childhood when I was watching this trans video. Yeah, let's see. I don't think you can be racist against Canadians. Countryist, maybe? Canada's not a race. Prejudice against Canadians, that would work with proper grammar. But there's no Canadian race. Maybe your indigenous populations, but just trying to see if there's anything else cool in here. And consumer is a dumb animal to be exploited. Well, unfortunately, many consumers are dumb animals, and they are often exploited. And that is kind of it. They want to ban AI toys for 4 years. How about ban AI toys for life? That'd be good, you know. Special non-bloated, non-recall, non-edge, non-telemetry, non-hardened requirements, non-everything beyond Core OS to play and mess with. Yep. Yep. Okay. I can't follow exactly what's going on down here. I think those were comments from a long time ago. See, I made a mistake. I pushed the button to show me unread comments, and somehow it went way up. I just looked up and noticed I was in January or something. So I have no idea what comments I've been reading. I have no idea. The matrix on this tablet is a little bit messed up. I don't know. Maybe I should stop reading it. I think I just, I'm, oh my Lord. Yeah. Hey, I just hit April 2nd. Yeah. So apparently I was just reading comments from like months ago. Okay. Oh yeah. There's some last week. There's the great Kit Kat scam heist. Oh, that was posted today. Okay. I found the Kit Kats. Uh-oh. All right, well, let's get back to comments from today. That sounds good, right? 16 watching over there on Rumble. Izzy B1234's over there. It's worse And crazy, these big companies like Google and Microsoft are killing all the other competition, so you can't get a good service from a third party. Yeah, that's a problem. Lack of service on anything. Yep. Being enslaved and dumbed down by our tech. Yeah. People are dumb. Yep. I'm not going to disagree with any of that. Okay. Future, I'm predicting you can only install unknown Android apps via ADB, non-Googled. Well, they did release the information. There is a 24-hour waiting period before you install something, but you can still install it through the GUI, you know. Battery has 25 minutes left, 20%. Did I mention always online with DRM, Netflix game? We can have kids, give kids Game Boy instead. Yep, there you go. Bad behavior, just take the batteries away. Yep. Well, you can still buy, save the ducks, kill AI. There you go. PETA will have a field day. That's right. 40 watching over on ZTubies. And let's see. Dev One base with X Libre and Mate desktop. Is PeerTube still a thing? Is worth setting up? Yeah, like I haven't done it because it would just get too expensive to host the server. I'm not paying that much money to put all my videos up, especially how many videos I do. Hey, we put up the podcast servers cost me extra every month now too. So, and released back in March, so it seems to be developed. I prefer Dev One because I can control it. Need to self-host is the issue. Everyone else has a bad Wilgadon. There you go. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Cube G1, greetings, welcome. Don't remember seeing you before. Remember Veracrypt? It used to be called TrueCrypt before something happened. A lot of backdoors were added and then taken off the internet and GitHub removed. Oh, boy. Use it, you'll get to understand. IT removed the nonsense Debian had, and you get the benefits of Debian without the nonsense. Yep. Sticking with CachyOS. If I get an age verification pop-up, then I'm setting it to Unix Epoch. Okay, there you go. Microslop also force people to force dev like me to pay them so Windows does not alter, allow user as a virus. Yeah. I think I have downloaded Artix. We'll install it sometime soon. Yep, of course it's in Ohio. Yep. Banning those scams. Sadly, cannot do all these things. Just try my best not to get scammed. Yep. Hearing the AI bubble will pop soon. I hope so. Hey, AI, are you dissing the AI girlfriends? Come on, man. That lady will always tell you what you want to hear. What's up, kitty? Kitty's over there meowing. She's like, what's going on? Yeah, she's over like, what's going on, man? What's going on? I can't see anything, and I can't hear anything either. Hospital is probably still asking for 5-figure payments, even with the teledoctor. Yeah. Paying some doctor in Calcutta for like 50 cents. Which doctor you should be looking at the Lord Jesus from? Waste of good food. Ducks are delicious. Hey, I like duck. There you go. Cat. Kitty. Make sure your cat does not see the AI shorts with the cat playing guitar. I'm pretty sure my cat went blind. I am pretty sure she's blind. Yeah. If there's any cat people here, let me show you. She will get legitimately surprised, even though if I'm right in front of her. See, just based on that, it looks like she has lost her vision. And she's like 20 years old, so not surprised. Like she's 18. I think she's 18 this year, so still in good shape for 18. But I'm pretty sure she's blind. Yeah, I think, huh? All right. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will catch you guys next time.